diagram here, they say which we are given triangle APC again. And then if you are given triangle APC, and then they say angle A is given as theta. So what I'm saying, the difference between what we've already done and then what we are doing much is that instead of me telling you which this one here is 30 degrees, I'm going to say which is theta. I'm giving you the angle as a variable. If I'm giving it to you as a variable, you can either use, remember from what we already know before, we can either use, it can either be a right angle. The triangle that is given can either be a right angle or it cannot be a right angle triangle. If it's a right angle triangle, we can use trig ratios, or we can use, if it's not a right angle triangle, linear. We're going to be using equals rule, the sine rule, and the area rule. Just to remind each other some of the rules that they are talking about. Sine rule, we already used it again. What else have we used? We've used the cos rule again. What else have we used? We also used the area rule. Now, what else do we need for this one here? We also should remember how to reduce. Angles that can reduce are 180, 90 degrees, 270. 90 and 270, they reduce and then they change it. 180 and 360, they only reduce again. So we also need that. We are also going to need that. Now, what is the other skill that we also need as we proceed? We also want to be able to know how to name the missing angle in terms of a variable. So for example, if Elena is given something like this, we'll come back to that one. Suppose you are given a triangle. It doesn't have to be a right angle triangle. It can be any triangle. So if they say to Elena, this one here is theta, this one here is alpha. And then let's call this A, B, C. Elena should be able to tell us which one is going to be C in terms of theta and alpha. Okay. Now, how would you get C in terms of theta and alpha? What is going to be C? C is going to be given as 180 degrees minus theta, minus what? Alpha, like this. Okay? And then the reason why we're saying this is because we have what? Sum of angles in a what? In a triangle. Okay, but now you can see there's a negative, okay? So we prefer which learners they use one negative here. So we'll say learners come and write this thing as 180 degrees minus open bracket. Okay? If you take out a negative and then you put it inside the bracket, I agree this one was negative. So you're going to say this is going to be what? To be positive. Agree if I say negative multiplied by positive is going to give me what? Negative. And then even here, this is going to be plus what? Like this. Yeah, so this angle here, it can be written as 180 degrees minus theta plus alpha. Now, if it's confusing for you, this thing here, here's what you can also do. You can say let theta plus alpha to be equal to x. So what does this mean? It means which everywhere I see theta plus alpha, I'm going to put what? X. Okay? Then if you look at this thing here is going to be written as 180 degrees minus what? X. So that it's clear to you now, which, okay, this thing here is part of the reducing family. Okay, don't use X, use any other alphabet. Use P, because X, they usually use it on the diagram. So you can use any other alphabet except X, because X is like, especially if you look at this diagram, it already has X here. So it might be a little bit confusing for you. Now, this is a good examination question. On a good examination question, they will start by saying, in the diagram, we have A, B, C. Okay? They say which we should name B in terms of theta. Okay? So they want us to tell them what is going to be this angle here in terms of what? Of theta. Now, what is this? This is a right angle triangle. Okay? So what is going to be this P in terms of theta? So what OP is going to be given as 108. Okay? Minus what? Minus this angle. Okay? What is this angle? It's 90. Minus this angle here. What is this angle here? It's theta. Now, these two are like terms. What is 180 minus 90? This is going to be 90 degrees. Okay? Minus theta. So it means, in other words, what is going to be this angle here? This angle here can be written as 90 degrees minus what? Minus theta. So this angle is given now. If you have it this way, it's given. And then we go to number two. With number two, they say find the length of AB in terms of, so you should have what? You should have theta, and then you should also have what? X. Can you see that? So you should have theta, and then you should also have what? X. Now, another way they could have asked this question here, you will see. Like, for example, with this question here, they said, they say to learners, show what BC. It's like they're saying calculate BC. in terms of x and what and in terms of x, beta, and what and theta. So it's exactly the same thing. Equation can be asked that way, or they can say to us, show Uguti AP can be given this way. If they say show AP can be given this way, they are saying calculate AP. So how are you going to calculate AP when you want this thing? Okay? You want to have what? They say which you should have theta. Okay? What else should you also have? You should have what? X. Now remember, guys, according to our mind map, that triangle that we are dealing with, is it a right angle triangle? It is a right angle triangle. Since it's the right angle triangle, what are we going to use then? We're going to use trig ratios. So let's come and use trig ratios here. So now we are looking for this thing here in relation to theta. You'll say it's what? This is going to be opposite to theta. Okay? And then this in relation to theta is what? So this is adjacent to theta. And then what is going to be this? Opposite to 90? This is going to be our hypotenuse side. So we need this one again. And then we want it to also have x. We need this one, and then we want it to have x. So which trig ratio seems to have opposite and hypotenuse? The sine again. So we're going to say which the sine of theta is going to be equal to AB again. AB is opposite again. All over the hypotenuse side. What is the hypotenuse side? It's x again. So what is going to be AP then? I want AP, né? Cross multiply. So it says which x, the sine of theta is going to be equal to what? AB. And then they will give you 1, 2 for that. Now, another way in which this question could have been asked, they could have said to you, show Uguti AP is going to be equal to x multiplied by the sine of theta. It's exactly the same thing. Calculate AP. Are we still together then? Yeah. Okay, we want to get what is going to be the length of AC now. We want to know which one is going to be AC. And then they say which we should have theta, and then we should also have what? X. So we want to have x, and then we also want to have what? Theta. So how would we get this angle here? How would we get this side here, AC? We're calculating AC again. So we want to have what? X again. We also need to have what? Theta. So we are going to use a trig ratio which has adjacent and what? And hypotenuse. Which trig ratio has hypotenuse? It's cos again. So I'm going to say the cos of theta is going to be given as adjacent. What is the adjacent? AC again, all over x. And then it says which AC is going to be given as x multiplied by what? By the cos of theta. Now, another learner say, what if I use the cos rule again? Or I use the sine rule? If I wanted to use the sine rule, I could have said, okay, agree, this one I know the angle. This one goes with this one here. Again. And then if I want to use the sine rule, this one is going to go with this one here. Does it make sense? So what are we looking for, Tina? We're looking for AC. If we're looking for AC, let's name this angle. Let's name this size then. What is going to be this? This one is small letter P again. This one is small letter C. This one is small letter A. Okay. If we use the sine rule, then what are we going to have? We're going to start with the side. Again, we're looking for the side. So we're going to say P all over the sine of capital letter B. This is going to be equaling to. What is it that we have? Actually, we want to have x again. So we're going to have, this is going to be A all over the sine of A. Now, what is P? P is AC again. AC is going to be equaling to, now we know what is A. What is A? Actually, here we cross multiply. What is A? It's x again. Multiplied by sine of P. We know what is P. We already told them which one is P. P is 90 degrees minus theta again. So this is going to be the sine of 90 degrees minus theta all over the sine. What is A? We know what is A. What is A? It's 90 degrees. Okay, AC is going to be given as x multiplied by. If you do this, I think this is 90 degrees minus theta. 90 can reduce again, but not only does it reduce, it changes again. What is going to be this thing then? It's going to be the cos of what? Of theta. If you say the cos of 90 gives you 1, then this and this, they're exactly identical. And then, when now you're going to be doing the following now. We are going to do example number 1, and then we're also going to do example number 2 as your activity. Example number 1. Yes.